What's up, Giga Gamers? Welcome to the Strat Chat. We're going to galvanize your mind today. Teemo is everywhere. All right, we've got a lot to talk about. As a Teemo aficionado, we're a big fan of what's going on. If you haven't seen it, these are the patch note changes that were live. All right, in patch 11.21, Teemo Q cooldown reduced, blind duration increased, missile speed increased, a flat 1 second decrease on the cooldown of a blind is a big deal, especially when it's combined with a half-second increase across the board on it. This means that at level 1, with only 1 rank, it's a 2-second blind, which means no one's going to be able to outtrade you in the top lane. All right, this shuts off probably 3 auto attacks once people have items. It's based on people's early attack speed, right? Your attack speed 0.7, for example, means that you're getting 0.7 attacks off every second. All right, so over the course of 2 seconds, that's 1.5 attacks. So if they're canceling their casting spells, that's 1 and the second. You might be able to get the third once they start getting some attack speed off. Absolutely massive for the half second. It also means that in the end game, that almost half of the time, and especially once you have cooldown reduction, more than half of the time, you can actually completely shut off one player on their team. All right. If it's a Draven, for example, or a Vayne, let's say Vayne, completely based on the auto attacks, has only 1 spell that does anything, you can shut off the Vayne's ability to attack for essentially all of combat. And especially, you could go super grief build with like all ability haste, but we'll maybe save that for special instances. All right. But another important thing was missile speed went up from 1500 to 2500. This means that the travel speed of an auto attack, right, is not going to be fast enough where they get a second auto on you ever before you can get a blinding dart. It also means that if you're standing in invisibility, you're going to get your blinding dart off before they can hit you. It also means when you're clearing jungle camps randomly, not saying that you should play jungle Teemo, even though it's relatively safe. It's a very slow clear. Don't do it. When you're clearing a camp, you used to hit Q, but their first hit would hit you anyways. But now if you hit Q, by the time they hit you, the blind has already set in, and they can't get you. So absolutely massive changes. There's some things that you just need to know about Teemo before you bring it onto the Rift. So let's see it. All right, I highly recommend that you go into your practice tool. Doesn't matter if you add a bot or not. The only thing that it's going to do is going to keep their levels up high so that you can, so you have even minion waves. There's a couple different builds. You can go a Dark Harvest build, but the one for maximum early game effectiveness looks like this with these runes, and then you can go with these in a situation where you're playing against someone like a Malphite or an Urgot that's going to try to poke you a lot. You can go a Second Wind, and unflinching you can try to make sure that they don't have the ability to close on you. If it's a Pantheon, you can go with bone plating, but your generic one is going to look something like this, where you just want to stay topped off, you want to be healthier than they are, and you can go into the game. We're going to be running Ignite because we're going to be looking for that press the attack, cheese kill. All right, level 1. Some people go Doran's Ring. I recommend this because you're going to be backing a lot. You don't have teleport. You're going to have to be walking back to base a couple times. The refillable can give you some extra value on this. The wards, if you notice the difference, right, they're going to give you 150 health versus the 125. So really you're getting an extra 50 health from the health pots, but then you don't get the refillable part. I think it's worth the refillable potion. And if you look at stats on the Doran's Ring, 70 health and 15 ability power versus 40 health and 15 ability power. So really, you're gaining 30 extra health if you get the Doran's Ring. You're gaining 50 extra health on the regen. It might be worth it, but honestly, I think that we get, especially if you're in lower ELOs, you're going to get a lot of free First Bloods, and the extra 2 stacks of Dark Seal is going to give you enough ability power to give you that extra damage to make up for it. So, without further ado, this is your spot. This is where we go invisible. We let the minions come back. All right, you want to get here nice and early, and you just cheese on this spot. You wait for your opponent to show up. They're going to come up. They're going to be wondering, where's Teemo? Is he in this bush? Is he in that bush? They're inevitably going to walk up into experience range. What you want to do is then step up, hit. You're going to be getting your E first. And the important thing is, as you're hitting, you're moving out of range of the casters, right? So you want to isolate the fight in this area. So again, as this minion wave is coming up, let's just pretend that we're here. We're going to pick one of these minions. If this is them, we're going to go hit, start chasing them up the field. And you want to be moving like this as you go, trying to distance yourself from the main forces. One of the most important things to know about Teemo is this invisibility passive. All right, it scales like a monster as the game progresses. As you hit 6, 11, 16, especially, you're going to be getting noticeable changes in how much this attack speed gives. In the early game, it's something. It's not nothing, right? And so it does help with your CSing, for example. If you want to stand right next to minions invisible, you can stand here and go like this. And now I can get 2 auto attacks off when I normally could only get 1. It just helps with that. And plus, if you're going to go out into trade, especially if you're going to use press the attack, you want to get that extra attack speed boost, right? Because the difference, watch what happens. How long it takes to kill this minion. Hit, 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 all right? Compare that to this. Hit, hit, hit. Not much difference at early levels, right? But that's going to start going up. In the beginning of the game, the invisibility is the important part. As the game goes on, it's going to get a little bit better. One thing you can do, wait, let the invisibility trigger, come out with a little bit more attack speed. All right, again, early in the game, totally not worth it because it doesn't change you enough, right? We're looking at 20% attack speed for 5 seconds. It's going to be exactly enough to make up for the time that you spent not attacking, and yet not worth. You can do better just by attacking. Gives you more flexibility in your play. Because if something goes wrong and your plan changes, then you want to be able to back out. Most times, you're not going to be going for this plate at the early levels, right? Before 5 minutes, you've got this reinforced turret plating, the fortification, and that's going to be a huge deterrent for your ability to take first turrets. I personally like to get a control ward, and when we come back to lane, you always want to get this negative wave state that's going to be coming back to you. All right, we're going to skip to the mid game. What's up, Bunky Junk? All right, let's go. Boom, boom, boom. We don't need to run back. All right, at level 6, you'll see that 1 mushroom is not going to be enough to clear these, okay? Even if you have massive amounts of AP, you're not going to have it. So when you're going and you're setting up your wave clear at this stage in the game, even after you get your Gnasher's Tooth, you're still going to want to go auto, place a shroom. Oops, sorry, on cooldown. Let me get these up. We'll just have to wait for the wave to spawn up again. But you can see once you get Gnasher's Tooth, your attack speed's going to be insane anyways. So when this wave is coming up, all right, if you're level 6 and you absolutely have to get a wave down, it's going to be hit. 1 hit to each of these, go, and this is going to be your fastest wave clear. All right, once you have Gnasher's Tooth, you don't even need to put the shroom down. All right, because 1 auto attack is enough to go kill the entire wave. All right, to kill the entire backline. So when we're coming here, you just watch this. We go hit, 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 and we let it tick down. Sorry, I probably would have had these. And then between the Gnasher's tick, oh, not yet. Sorry, we're normally going to be rank 9. Once we level up, let's go. Once you get that Gnasher's Tooth and once you've maxed out on E, you actually want to get your W maxed up. So let's see the attack speed difference right here. Boom, boom. Look how quickly you attack now. All right, as opposed to just once it's worn off. There. So this is what your wave clear looks like. Later, boom, you just tag with the Gnasher's Tooth. You let everything wave down, tick down. Your wave clear is absolutely nuts. Do not waste a mushroom on the wave. Not ever. Once you have your Gnasher's Tooth, you are done doing it. See how long it took to clear that plate? Go invisible. The next one's going to be just as fast, even though we have fortification up. All right, one of the things you're going to want to do once you get into level 6, you're going to want to put out defensive shrooms. The important thing to know, and until you get used to using it, you can use your smart cast to see where the borders are. You want to make sure that you do not leave any gap between your mushroom and the wall, because anyone who's hugging the wall, if you notice, if I click from here to here, it'll take me through this area, and I will not get hit by a mushroom that's standing there. So when you're going, get used to it by making sure that your shroom is actually all the way touching the wall. It's probably better to make sure that you go here so you don't get any surprises. Make sure that this is hit. Now, the important reason to get a mushroom right here, if you're on blue team, any jungler that's coming to gank, watch what happens. All right, if they're coming obviously from river and they're trying to cut you off, they're going to hit this shroom. But even if they go here, all right, and they're trying to get behind you, they're still going to hit this shroom. So very defensive, very good spot to put. Another good spot to place, all right, is hugging the wall right here or right here. The big difference, you don't want it here because they're going to be putting pink wards, all right? So you want to get it as far away from what might be the vision here as possible. You might actually be able to tuck it this way. And again, anyone who's going to try to gank you, boom, they trip on that. Watch, even if they go to here, all right, they're coming to get you, that's still going to hit them. This shroom will still hit the guy who's trying to gank you, even from a straight path to cut you off, all right? So this is a very important one, all right? And it's just outside the range. Let's say they put a pink ward here. It actually won't see this ward. As you continue the game, and especially once you hit level 11, you'll notice right now, oh, let's not get XP. At level 10, you can have 3 mushrooms, but look, if I try to cast this guy right here, can't do it. What I can do, however, is go here and then toss and bounce. All right, and there is a little bit of extra leeway here. You can back off a little bit. Oh, no, it's going to make me come close. It sees how close at level 10, there's very little range on this. It will bounce, though, and you can create a decent amount of buffer to a zone. If you want to protect, for example, this pit right here, and you have 3 charges, you can go 1. Oop, missed that one. I made the mistake of moving my mouse. You'll see that the wall is not going to let you bounce mushrooms, whereas if we get to level 11, we should have enough range at level 11. Now we're going to look here. We're going to go to the same spot. All right, but over this way. Watch how much farther I can cast that shroom. All right, and we can go and create much more space. If you can see 1, 2, 3, as opposed to 1, 2, 3, can get them much further out. You can also take the same wall now, and you can bounce this shroom starting at level 11. Another trick to use. All right, this scuttle crab, it's going to run away from me. Watch what happens to the mushroom. Dodged. Dodged. The scuttle crab will not trip the shrooms. This was something that came out when the scuttle crab first came out. It was randomly tripping the mushrooms. Ever since it's had this shield, it does not randomly trip them. But once you go into combat, then it will. All right, so don't be afraid of putting your mushrooms in the river in an attempt to disrupt the enemy jungler if they're going. But most times we have even better spots. All right, if your team is losing and your jungler is getting invaded, again, same reasoning. We want to take away this spot, this guy pathing this way, or this guy pathing this way. They're both going to trip over this mushroom. All right, anyone who's coming into your blue side jungle will trip over this. Similarly, if they're coming back here, everyone's going to trip over that. If you're playing defensively again, anyone who's trying to fight your mid laner, right? Tuck it away just back here. Anyone who's coming around this edge to come to your raptors or to wrap onto a straight line gank to mid, let's see, they do this. They're going to hit this shroom, all right? Most people know that if there's a ward, a pink ward, red ward right here, you can actually hug this wall and go, and then you stay away from the vision here. It's not a bad idea to get another shroom if you've got this one out, to get this one out. Again, these are the very defensive ones. All right, people coming in here, if they're coming to gank, they're going to pass this wall, right? This one would naturally hit, but so will this one, all right? And they may not have their pink ward out yet. They may be walking out to come get this. If they're coming from lane, they may come out and get their pink. Your team contests them. They try to retreat and they get hit up. All right, now the more fun ones, the aggressive ones. All right, again, hugging walls. You want them to trip on this. Anyone that's coming from their base, right, is going to trip on this mushroom. Same thing here. Same thing here. All right, and you get the extra benefit of all these other paths. Boom. Same thing here. I like this one a lot because most people coming out their gate, they're not thinking to hug the walls around this spot, nor would they because you've been placing mushrooms on walls. This spot's great. I'm going to put this all out on a little map. Each of these spots is a fantastic position for a mushroom. All right, you can put one right here, although most times hugging the wall again is going to be better. If you need to, right, you've got three or four stacked up and you need to say, I want to ward over here, but I don't want to offer the enemy team the opportunity to hit me up or to kill me like I'm on my mistake. This is a super effective way to control the area. Most times, most supports, when they have their sweeper up, do not have time to kill all these shrooms. So what we're trying to do is control all the pathways that they might use, right? Without giving vision. The best shrooms are the ones that are staying outside of the vision range of the bushes that they might place. All of these are very likely to trip your opponents up. All right, if you're on this side, you're setting up for Baron. Again, they're always going to expect the shroom right here. What they're not going to expect are these ones. All right, this one is an auto hit. Anyone coming through this corridor is going to hit that one. Anyone coming through either of these corridors is going to hit this one. If you're protecting Baron, you want to get here, all right? This one's good, especially if it's no matter which side they're going to defend, they're going to come to it. Now, again, we said we don't want it to be in vision, all right? So that's why we're going to put this mushroom right here. As this fight breaks out and people are trying to protect themselves, or if they're coming around this way, they're going to trip on this thing. You want to get it out of vision, but you want it to be on a junction. It's going to hit here. All right, this ward won't see it. This ward won't see it. You can get this guy, this one, all right? This effectively cuts off all the paths that they might take. Who in their right mind is going to come here and then step down into river and then come over, right? It just doesn't make sense. And lastly, as your team is pushing, you want to get these ones down, all right? You want to get the edges of walls so that if fights break out, your team has a spot to retreat, all right? As you approach waves, as you push past turrets. All right, we'll clear this really quick. As your team is pushing past the turrets, you can also use the edge of the terrain between the turrets, right? This takes away now this entire half of the lane, means that if they're walking on this side, they're going to take it. Level 11 is also once you start being able to clear minions with one mushroom. All right, so we can come here. We're going to interrupt this Jax for a bit. Just going to come here. Boom. Those are going to die. And any champion like a Jax, they just don't have a chance. All right, this guy's obviously sitting on just a Dornblade, so it's not quite a fair fight, right? But look how much damage you just deal over time. Keep on maxing that W, especially if they have gankers. If their team is all auto attack based, which is very rare, but let's say they've got Graves top, or let's say they've got like a Fiora top, Graves jungle, Yasuo mid, these types of champions, then you can get your blind first. But the mobility, the passive mobility, the ability to get around the map and to get these shrooms down is even more important. Here's a map. Here's a map of all, whoop, I should probably move this. Here's a map of all the shrooms that you can place as a blue Teemo that can get your opponent in a lot of trouble and aim for the final mushrooms of the game, which are going to be right here. It's always a pleasure to plant some shrooms for them and say, you guys can have this for next game. Give them a little plan. What else? What have we missed? Again, we'll just tag. If you do want to clear the wave, auto, boom. Guys, I think that they're ahead of you. They just can't do it. No one's gonna win. No one's ever gonna win that fight. All right, you're never gonna lose to a Jax. You're never gonna lose to a Yasuo. Just make sure that that blinding dart hits once they try to empower their stuff. All right, what else have we missed? It's story time. This was me, season 4. And I swear to you, at one point, I was able to get this to 6.6/6.6/6.6. It took a lot of work, but I do want to give a shout out to the user DubbaJubba. Way back in season 4, and I remember your name. Holler, you better show up in the comments if you see this. This man griefed me in a way that I've never been griefed before, right? So, think of everything they could possibly do to make your game miserable. Show up to your lane, contest your CS, int your laner. They would make sure to take turns inting jungler, mid lane, top lane, mostly top lane, not trying to get CS and not trying to do anything with it. They were buying Tear of the Goddess, the old Tear of the Goddess that used to be able to buy like 6 of them. They would just walk up, wait for me to try to get my last hit, and they would try to interrupt my last hit, right? That's it. That's all they were doing all game, trying to make it as impossible to play as humanly possible. And then they said, I never want you to pick that rat shit champion again. I remember it verbatim. I never want you to pick that rat shit champion again. Well, DubbaJubba, you honed my pitchfork, my Teemo Satan pitchfork, and I vowed to play 100 consecutive games of Teemo just for you. And that's when we got the 6-6, 6-6, 6-6 KDA on Teemo. And then if we flash forward, we're still on it. Teemo's absolutely insane right now. The extra buffs, he's been buffed multiple times. Even the random time when you're going to just step into the jungle and kill that Gromp and heal back up is better because of how they made the toxic shot interact in the jungle. Champion's just strong. You're going to have a fun time playing it. You're going to have a maniacal time crushing your opponents. And honestly, the very best part, and I mean the very best part of Teemo, is that you can put mushrooms down in the places that you can ask your team then to come and say, hey guys, look at this. I have 12 mushrooms placed around their red side jungle. Please invite them to Baron. Let them come to Baron. We are going to win this fight, right? That is the very best part, is being able to say, guys, look, this is where we should be fighting. It takes, sometimes you can go in that split push mode if your team's feeding, you can try to go, but push, and then between waves, get into the jungle, right? Slide over. After you go push the lane, right? If you're up here, you're pushing this lane. Once you kill the wave, step out into the jungle. Go boom, boom. Pop these shrooms. Come back out. Push the wave. Come back out. Boom, boom. Get these shrooms down. These are the ways that you can impact the map, right? Do not waste those shrooms, especially after level 11. They're way too good, all right? Last but not least, we'll just go over the kit. Show you guys the attack speed changes in case you didn't see it in action. Oh boy, that's wrong. There it is. There it is. Okay. No, this just doesn't work. Here's where we're at, the law wiki. All right. Base attack speed, 0.69, not bad. Magic resist, not good. Armor's fine. Attack damage growth, is fine. The attack range is a little bit low, but wind up is decent, and the bonus attack speed is good. So the scaling on this champion, right, it's going to go up and deal more damage over time. Now here's what we were talking about. All right, level 1, 5, 10, 15. Each of these breakpoints means that your invisibility, coming out of invisibility, you're going to be dealing more damage. And especially once you hit level 10, really paired up with your level 11 mushroom, you are going to be highly lethal. You're going to have your Gnasher's Tooth by then, and you're going to be able to beat them up. If you look at the damage over time, Toxic Shot's just been buffed and buffed and buffed again. All right, the monster damage is up. it's pretty nuts, right? Like, this is how much damage you're going to get. Four ticks of the on hit. You're getting 70% AP scaling on the ability for essentially every hit. You are replacing it sometimes, but even if you just get that 1, 2, 3, boom, press the attack, goes off. Blinding Dart has an 80% ratio, so if you're in a matchup against a mage in the top lane or long range characters in general, and you're not going to be able to get into Toxic Shot, instead of going press the attack, go max Blinding Dart, because this actually slaps. This ability hits really, really hard, and also the 3-second duration means you're going to be useful even if you're in a bad matchup like a Pantheon, for example, or Urgot, something that can hit you from range, that can engage from range. Here's the change that they did in the jungle. Double effectiveness to jungle creeps. This right here, this is permanent uptime. All right, if you're maxing Blinding Dart, you do not take damage in the jungle. The duration, the cooldown, right? You get one cooldown item, one haste rune, and boom, you're done. Move quick, right? This is the passive move speed boost. This is the doubled one, right? And this is insane, right? When you're activating this is a huge movement speed. This is why you're getting it twice. You're getting it second so that you can start slapping, especially once you have your Gnasher's Tooth. You really just want to have the attacks, the move speed to go along with it. What have we missed? Bonky Junk, have I missed anything? I'm not going to go into all the individual matchups. Here's the changes, right? Blinding Dart change, 11-17 on hit base damage increased. Move quick, cooldown reduced to 14. Guerrilla Warfare increased to 5 seconds. On hit base damage increased. All right, this was just a like cleanup. That's how much this champion has been changed, right? Here's the changes in the jungle: double and 150% in the jungle. Where's the? This was the big change where the noxious traps can start bouncing. Removed, no longer detonates rift scuttlers who aren't in combat, right? So like this champion has just been buffed and buffed and buffed and buffed. I've always enjoyed him. He's been fun to play this whole time, and now I think it's just hit that point where everyone should be playing it, and you should go nuts with it. So that's it. That's your guide to Teemo. You guys can take over the Rift. You guys got to give me some highlight montages. You get any triple kills, quadra kills, or if you get those random Dark Harvest proc noxious traps where people are just dying from full health walking through the jungle, you got to let me know. Let me know in the comments, all right? Keep it surreal, guys. Peace.